Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems again, and welcome to another video in MX vs. ATV All Out, where today we are going to be highlighting and talking a little bit about the latest DLC addition to MX vs. ATV All Out, and it is Slash's Snake Pit. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Guns N' Roses lead guitarist Slash is a big moto fan and enthusiast, and the guys at Rainbow Studios teamed up with him to do this cool DLC content drop, I guess you would call it, this past week. It includes a freestyle map, which I am currently playing. It's called Battlegrounds, and then it also includes 3 Supercross tracks, which I will also be playing. And yeah, really cool deal that Slash, the guitarist from Guns N' Roses, got involved here. Guns N' Roses is an awesome band. I love a lot of their music. Don't necessarily listen to it regularly, but it's one of those kind of songs and bands that when you hear it on the radio, it's definitely a jam out kind of thing. And cool that he's a big moto fan and enthusiast of the sport and wanted to get involved and chose to get involved through this video game, MX vs. ATV All Out. And I just noticed that on the freestyle map here, if you go over by the stage, you can, I guess, hear the music. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, he's got his name plastered all over it and his logo, and the freestyle map is, I feel like, pretty straightforward. It's nothing like wild and crazy out there. However, the Supercross tracks are really ridiculous, so let me just throw one more big whipper tail here to kind of highlight the rest of this map. But let's go ahead and play the Supercross tracks that came with this pack. I actually want to do a time trial on them. Alright, so it's Slash Kick It Up, Slash Last Thrill, and Slash Wah Wah. And we're going to do Kick It Up to start off here. And the lap times are very long on these courses. So to get into the direction that they went with this DLC a little bit, from what I gathered, is that they tried to kind of bring back some of the more upscaled things in terms of having, you know, bigger jumps, bigger rhythm sections, some elevated parts of the track that aren't included on other tracks that are already in the game, some different flow to the tracks as well, so maybe it's not as like kind of cookie cutter supercrossy stuff that you would expect. Not that MX vs. ATV Supercross tracks have ever really been cookie cutter supercross tracks. They always really work on finding stuff that's outside of the box to include on their tracks. However, these tracks, they definitely have some different dynamics to it, some kind of, I would say, like, you know, 30-degree corners mixed in on this one, for example, to kind of diagonal back and forth across the track. And then, of course, if you play free ride, there's also some freestyle ramps and stuff to hit on the side of the course. But obviously, the biggest you know, noticeable difference on this track as opposed to the other regular Supercross tracks in the game, you know, is the pyrotechnics behind it all. There's the lights flying around the stadium, you know, the laser beams. There's the stage over here on the left-hand side, which again, they're rocking some music out over there. And then the lanes are kind of lined by these glowing lines on the side of the track underneath the tough blocks, which, I mean, altogether really just adds kind of like an added visual to the show, which I think is pretty unique. Unfortunately, as with our industry, whenever a kind of, I guess, like high-list celebrity of some sort gets involved with our sport, it is behoove of people to, for whatever reason, try to push them away. This situation reminds me a little bit of when Bret Michaels got involved with the Rock Hard, Ride Hard Supercross Award and all that business, and how, for whatever reason, he wasn't that positively received. But I mean, I think that this stuff is really neat to have, you know, a musician of Slash's level get involved with this game or get involved with the sport in any level, and contribute what he thinks is a cool vision or concept to, you know, add to the sport, and then, you know, in some ways get his name and the band and all that business tied to the sport even more so. You know, I actually saw a tweet that someone had posted that was not related to motocross whatsoever, but it says, like, check out Slash's new DLC in a video game, and then it, you know, had all these images and stuff like that. And I apologize, I'm writing absolutely abysmal right now. But that's really cool because then, you know, we get some kind of outside of the industry, maybe a little bit more mainstream exposure towards the sport of motocross and supercross or freestyle or, you know, ATV racing as well, which, you know, whether you really want to have that vision installed to the sport or not, the sport will never grow unless we actually, you know, take these guys in and treat them just like family, which a good amount of people do. You know, a lot of people are really on board with concepts like this, and I'm definitely one of those people. I think that stuff like this is super awesome. I wish that we would see more mainstream personalities, I guess would be the right term here, to get involved with the sport. You know, if you watch a supercross race, they like to basically shove NASCAR drivers down our throat, which is also pretty cool that they're, you know, part of the whole spiel and everything. But another thing that I never really understood was when the RCH Suzuki team existed, obviously part of that team is Carey Hart, and part of Carey Hart is Pink, the musician. I think her name is Alicia something, but you know, Pink is huge, and she was at quite a few supercross races, and I get that maybe she didn't want to be like involved with the show or anything like that, but you just never heard about that kind of stuff, which is always crazy to me because it always seemed like if they could just say like, hey, look, we have another celebrity in the building, there's Pink, but it just never seemed like they really cared about that stuff. But I mean, like I said, this is just overall really cool concept to have, you know, someone as awesome as Slash get involved with the sport, and you know, his music is iconic, his guitar playing abilities are legendary, and to, you know, be involved in motocross and supercross, I think it's just a really cool experience for the whole gamut of everything. And then these tracks in general, which I haven't touched on much, are really fun and interesting, and I'm going to try to not spend as much time on every single track as possible, but we'll jump over to the next one. But all these tracks that were involved in this DLC, and the DLC, by the way, is $4.99, $5, whatever you want to call it, and it's on your PSN Network store, Xbox Marketplace, or Steam store. You know, it comes with the 3 tracks, comes with the freestyle map, and all of them have their own, you know, unique elements to it that aren't included with original tracks in the game, so it kind of, you know, gives you an incentive to add these tracks to your content list. If you're not a big fan of overscaled tracks and, you know, high-speed supercross and stuff like that, and you want some more technical tracks, then maybe this isn't the DLC for you, and I understand that. You know, I'm not pushing it upon you as something that is a must-buy, but I do believe that this is a pretty cool DLC concept and add-on in general, and, you know, I would recommend it. You don't have to, but similar to the Ricky Carmichael DLC, you know, it's just more content for us to be able to play. Lots of discussion going on that I have seen about, is there going to be another DLC release before the year's out? From what I have read and seen, I believe that that is a very likely possibility from the Rainbow Studios guys. And then, of course, speculation runs wild about what that could be, but yeah, I mean, we're playing this right now, and I think that this stuff is pretty dang cool. But yeah, more about these supercross tracks. The rhythm lanes are all very different. I haven't really been able to find a decent flow on any of them. One of the things I do like about these tracks that some of the tracks in the game already do accomplish, but most of them do not, is that it's not just a wide open, you know, run and gun type of track to hit. You really do have to time your rhythm sections, time your jumps, make sure your seat bounces are on par, and not lose your momentum, as I have done repeatedly in this video, because then you won't be able to actually complete a half-decent lap in this game. So that's pretty cool. Of course, the pyrotechnics and all that involved are really cool. I don't believe that these are actually like new stadiums per se. I think that it's already one of the stadiums that they had in the game, and they've just added a few elements to it, some new objects, obviously some object pack updates, if you will. The finish line structure, the starting gate, the hole shot, the bales, obviously the stage on the side of the track, are all kind of new additions to the game that we didn't see before. The track decals and all that business aren't anything new, but with the lighting on the side of the tracks and obviously all the the stuff going on up in the stands. That's all new and included. Trying to think what else I can tell you about this DLC pack. Oh, I messed up and didn't do this, but there is actually a selectable rider with one-off /gear. So there's like a whole, /gear setup that you can choose and use in the game. Kind of along the lines of the Ricky Carmichael DLC, where once you got that DLC, you could use Mr. Richard Charmander as a character. Same goes for this /gear setup that you can use in-game if you so choose to run it. Not required, obviously, as I am still riding the track with just some standard stuff that was included with the game, but just another element to add to it, if you will. So yeah, this was, let me think, I don't remember. I know we're going to a Wan next, or Wah Wah, or whatever you want to call it. This one was called, I need to go to time trial. So we just did Kick It Up, then Last Thrill. This is Wah Wah, and this one has probably the most unique Supercross track layout in the game that I have seen thus far. DLC, included or not included in this case. Lots of turns, very up and down, elevation change, and overall really unique track, honestly. Excuse me, but probably has the best flow of the three Supercross tracks that are released in this DLC pack, if I'm completely honest. Because of the rhythm sections not being as long maybe in this one, it's not as, I guess, difficult to, time everything perfectly and get everything right. You can kind of go with the flow a little bit easier on these sections on this track, on the Wah Wah track. But you can still kind of tool around with the lines and make some different sections. I really like these two sections back to back here because there's like some raised on-offs and some kickers and some things in there that you don't normally see on a Supercross track. So again, Rainbow Studios, if there's one thing that they do right with their tracks is that they think outside of the box and try to come up with some clever ideas for Supercross tracks. Obviously with the other game on the market at the moment, that being Monster Energy Supercross or MXGP Pro in this case, they are replica tracks, so they can't really change much up anyway, but these custom tracks, they definitely don't fall in line with the, standard Supercross tracks that you'd expect to see if you went to a Supercross race in real life. Especially this one. I mean, unfortunately, we're never going to see something quite like this in real life. One of the reasons being that this is way too big of a floor plan and there is no stadium this big that exists. But two, dirt is very expensive to haul into a stadium, and the Feld track crew pretty much tries to get away with using the least amount of dirt that they can possibly use when they host a Supercross. So these huge raised and elevated corners are just something that we're really just never going to see, unfortunately. But I guess we can dream, right? And I've always really wanted to see more dirt used on real Supercross tracks and add some different elements to the layout of the track, like these raised corners. Not that we haven't seen raised corners before in Supercross, but never quite this level where it's really tall, up in the air type of corners. Big wall jumps like this, for example, just not going to see that very often. And hey, maybe this gets them psyched, and by them I mean Feld Entertainment, to maybe have some shows. Like, that'd be kind of cool. What would be really cool or unique, I guess, would be it seems of late for TV purposes they like doing these kind of day races or half day, half evening races that run like 4 to 7 or 3 to 6 or whatever. What if they just scheduled a concert that night or that day? And maybe it doesn't have to be like a full-blown mainliner, but maybe, just maybe, I don't know, cough cough slash of Guns N' Roses, we could get Guns N' Roses out there to do a concert. Maybe, because then one thing that I've noticed, I live in San Diego, and we have horse racing in San Diego. There's a Del Mar racetrack pretty close to where I live that is pretty popular for horse racing. But after the horse racing, they always schedule concerts, or not always, but for a large portion of them, they'll schedule some concerts afterwards. And what I think is cool about that is like it gets maybe fans of said musician to maybe come out and go to the horse races and gamble. In this case, I think it'd be kind of cool if, you know, for this particular case, Guns N' Roses plays a concert after Supercross, that you get these Guns N' Roses fans that maybe aren't Supercross fans or maybe don't know what Supercross is to show up, you know, before the concert, catch a Supercross race in the stadium and be maybe blown away and become a new fan. Just an idea. Of course, it'll probably cost a lot of money, and nobody likes to spend money in this sport, so not likely, but a cool concept that I think would be an interesting addition to a Supercross race if they ever went that route. I know that they've been trying to cram in some more format changes with the Triple Crown, and you know, who knows, maybe that eventually leads to just main events happening at a race, and then obviously that leaves the crowd kind of wondering why they paid $35 for a ticket just to show up for a 1-hour event. But if you have a 2-hour concert with a headliner right after that, then maybe it gives them incentive to stick around and watch the whole race and all that action. But anyway, this is the Slash Snake Pit DLC in MX's ATV All Out, $4.99. Get it while it's hot, get it while it's fresh. Just came out yesterday, so pretty cool addition to MX's ATV All Out, and definitely would recommend checking it out if you have the funds to do so. But thanks for watching another video here on Start Your Systems. My name's Kellen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.